What's up and welcome back to my channel. I am the Mass Trans and you are watching me, baby. Now before we get today's video started, I just want to give a quick what's up to my peeps and a diabolical middle finger to the creeps. You know who you are. Let me try to tuck this bonnet some, you guys. Girl, she loves to make a guest appearance. So anyway, you guys, happy Wednesday, happy hump day. This is my first video in a minute. I have been, well, let me give you guys a little life update before I even start to talk about what I came to talk about. So life update, I was in a 3-year relationship, meaning past tense, that relationship is no more. Don't cry for me, Argentina. I am in a much better place as a result of that relationship being over. And I hope he is too. You know, he has this, he is aware of this channel, so I'm not sure if he'll ever see this video. So I don't want to say anything that is meant to hurt his feelings because, I don't know, it just wasn't meant to be, you know, and that was the awareness that I came to. So it wasn't meant to be. I was unhappy for a very, very long time, but I'm a loyalist, right? I'm just one of those people, like if I'm in a relationship, even though I'm unhappy, I'm going to try to stick it out. I'm going to try to ride it out. But it just came to the point where that was that. So I've been technically single for 2 months. Well, I've been broken up for 2 months. I am already in. Listen, don't come over here judging me, okay? Don't do that. Don't do that, boo-boo. Don't come over here judging me. But yes, I am in a new relationship. I know people are like, oh, you need to take your time. You can't just jump right back into something. It's going to be a rebound. And, and even if it is, so what? So what? So yes, didn't take me a whole lot of time, and that is one of the benefits of being a high-value woman. Rest in peace, Kevin Samuels. So yes, I'm in a new relationship with a really, 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 really nice guy. Ex-boyfriend was night, new boyfriend is day. They are completely different energies. So that's what's going on in my world. In addition to that, I've been working, building my own company, doing all of that stuff in the background. So I just haven't had a lot of time to come and do YouTube. And to be completely honest with you, it ain't been a whole lot that I've wanted to talk about. But enough about me. Let's talk about a couple of stories that I did find somewhat interesting, right? So story number 1 is shout out to Raphael Warnock for winning the Georgia Senate election for the 2nd time. And by my estimation, this whole majority thing that they got going on down there in Georgia, that you have to win the election by 50% or more, y'all need to cut that out. A win is a win is a win. It's a win. If you won, you won. Why are you wasting the people's time? We got stuff to do, places to be. It's the holidays, Thanksgiving, Christmas. We don't want to be out here having to go back out and vote for it. We already told y'all who we wanted. And here y'all go, asking us to vote. Well, when I say us, I'm talking about the collective voting pool. Not necessarily, well, I am talking about those in Georgia specifically, but asking Georgians to go out a 2nd time to vote. It's too much. But thank goodness people answered that call because they want you to not go out and vote the 2nd time. They want you to be lazy. They want you to sit on your vote. They want you to sit on your hands and be like, oh, I'm tired of, they want voting fatigue to allow you to not have your voice be heard and go out there. And what people don't realize is that in my opinion, IMHO, the local elections matter more than the national ones, right? Because those are the ones that are going to have an immediate effect on your quality of life. And there isn't necessarily a, what's the college? Why can't I think of the, but you got the electoral college. There isn't that for local elections, so you don't have to worry about that. So that local vote, those are the ones, in my opinion, that matter the most. So shout out to Georgia. It's just scary to me to think that the election is that close, right? And I sit back and I ask myself, like, what are these people voting on? If you have Herschel Walker, and I chuckle because who would put this man? I'm not gonna even, I don't trust him to turn on the light switch. Do you hear me? I don't trust Herschel Walker to add milk to cereal. Like, that is too complicated of a recipe for this man. You put Herschel Walker against Raphael Warnock, and people act like it is a struggle in terms of who to choose. Whew. Who to choose? Herschel Walker, Raphael Warnock. Listen, I don't necessarily believe in calling people dumb. I don't necessarily believe in calling people stupid. I don't necessarily believe in calling people intellectually challenged. but, dot. I'm just saying, come on, y'all. Like, that conservatives, listen, conservatives, I get it. You are anti anything LGBTQ, right? Because that's really what it comes down to in these elections. These conservatives and some Democrats, because when I say conservatives, I'm talking about Republicans, they don't like LGBTQIA plus P. Did I miss the P? And so they vote because when they're talking about conservative values, when they're talking about family values, what they're really saying is anything that is that falls underneath that rainbow, we're not here for it. We're not here for it. Women's reproductive rights, we're not here for it. And I never understand that, because the Republican Party is supposed to be the party of limited government, yet you are trying to legislate, ovaries, and trying to legislate who can love who and who can marry who and who people can be, but you're quote unquote limited government. Okay, maybe I don't understand the definition of limited, because in my estimation, once again, I thought limited meant hands off. Like, we're only here when we need to be, and I don't need you to be up in my personal choices. Okay, I don't need that. So anyway, it's just mind-boggling to me that the Georgia Senate race can be that close, because people, and that just goes to show me that this whole thing, when people are always invoking God and dogma, that y'all really don't care. This ain't got nothing to do with Jesus. This ain't got nothing to do with God. This has to do with you pushing the agenda that you believe in, that you support, because ain't nothing Christ-like about Herschel Walker. Nothing. You're supposed to be a conservative. You're supposed to be dogmatic, and you have a reverend. You have a reverend. Reverend Raphael Warnock. I say it again, reverend. Okay, a theologian. Versus a Herschel. I paid for it a few times, but I can't recall. Maybe I did, maybe I didn't, Walker. You would forsake a reverend for Herschel Walker. That doesn't make any sense to me. My brain can't understand how people would make that choice. It really can't. And I really just can't understand why people are so convicted to want to have an influence or impact on choices that are not connected to them. I will never, ever, ever be able to understand that. Listen, I don't smoke weed. I don't do drugs. I don't drink. None of that stuff is my jam, right? But if you having a good time, I don't give a damn what your drug of choice is. It ain't my business. I don't give a damn what your cocktail of choice is. It ain't my business. I don't give a damn what your strain of marijuana is. It ain't my business. I made a choice. Me, her, she, to not do those things. And because I made the choice to do it, I'm not over here trying to tell you what you should or shouldn't be able to do. Every time there is a measure or a ballot to approve marijuana, I am pro approval. Because I believe that people should have a right to choose if they want to do that or not. It ain't my jam, once again. But listen, girl, go cut up. Have yourself a good old time. Understand what you're doing. Understand the choices that you're making. Be informed. Be educated about the choices that you're making. But again, those are your choices. I am not God. I do not have the right to tell you what you can or cannot do. And that's the problem with a lot of these conservatives. They think that they're God. So anyway, I'm going to step down off my soapbox for a second and just say again, congratulations to Raphael Warnock. Like, we can't continue letting this be close like this, y'all. We can't keep on playing these close games because I know that the majority of this country is more liberal leaning. But the problem is we don't vote. And we need to, because we need to start speaking, because when you have margins this slim, conservatives really start to believe that they're on the right track, and they're not. Anyway, one more story I want to talk about before I get out of here, and that is Gabrielle Union versus Lil Boosie. I was going to play the audio, and I was going to also insert his response, but what's the point? So anyway, an old clip, O-L-D, an old clip of Gabrielle Union having an interview, I want to say with, is it Jamel Hill? I can't think of her name, but she was doing an interview, and she was asked about Lil Boosie, and she basically said that Lil Boosie seemed quite obsessed with peen. Couldn't keep peen off his mind, baby. Day and night, peen, 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 peen. Peen, 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 peen. Breakfast peen, lunch peen, brunch peen, dinner peen, midnight snack peen. Peen was on this man's mind. And so Gabrielle said, you know, like, you just seem quite obsessed with it, sir. Because it's not just Zaya. It is also, you know, Lil Nas X. Like, he has an obsession with all things LGBTQIAP+. And I was watching Cocktails with Queens on Fox. And shout out to Selena Johnson on Cocktails with Queens, because she was, in my opinion, the only one who understood exactly what was going on and articulated it in a way where I was, because sometimes you hear people talking about trans issues, and I just want to jump in the conversation, jump in the fray, and be like, girl, what are you talking about? What are you talking about? So before I go down that rabbit hole about Cocktails with Queen, let me just say, so Gabrielle basically ate him up. She ate him up, you know, just with his obsession with a child, Zaya Wade. And so this old clip started circulating online, and I guess, baby, it was the first time Lil Boosie had seen it, or he was either unaware that it was an old clip. So he went off and talked about Gabrielle, quote unquote, she needs to peg her man because Lil Boosie knows what Dwayne Wade likes, and also he hasn't talked about them, and what else? He called her a white girl. First of all, like, learn how to read. I mean, if you're going to read. You called her a white girl. And I know the reason that you called her a white girl is because she, you know, she speaks in complete sentences. She's articulated. She enunciates. She understands subject-verb agreement, you know, dangling participles. She understands how to speak. She's eloquent. And because she's eloquent, somehow that makes her a quote-unquote white girl. And see, that's the ignorance. That's hood ignorance right there. That is hood ignorance. Hood ignorance. And that's why I don't get upset with people necessarily like Boosie or his constituency of ignoramuses. You can't. You can't. Because they're stuck in the hood. They're stuck in the hood. Because even online, right? Listen, if you go to certain websites, I don't go to them. I don't visit Neighborhood Talk. I don't visit Shade Room. I know of them because it's impossible at this point to not know of these. What's the other one? Is it the? I think that might be it. The Neighborhood Talk. There was another one that one of my friends sent me a link to, some sort of chat room or chat board that a lot of people go to. That I would never ever go there. I wouldn't. You know why? Because it's hood. Because it's hood. And I don't want to expose myself to that type of energy, that Lil Boosie mentality. So he's stuck there. He is stuck there. And the fact that she is an intelligent black woman who is loving and supporting of her trans child, it blows my mind. I saw a video on YouTube about a week ago of Gabrielle and her daughter, I don't know the kids' names outside of Zaya. Her youngest daughter, the one that she used to surrogate for. And they're having a conversation about Halloween and Elsa or something. Just a very, very sweet moment, a very touching moment. And my curiosity got the better of me, and I said, let me go read the comments. And as soon as I went to the comment, the very first comment I read was, God, protect this child, protect this baby. Protect the baby from what? From what? Protect the baby from two loving parents? Now, Lil Boosie hired a prostitute, an adult prostitute. He essentially facilitated the M-word on his son. Rhymes with infestation. Starts with an M. But God protect the child from Gabrielle Union and Dwayne Wade? From two loving parents? It just goes to show me how ill-informed, how prejudiced, how bigoted some people are. And when I was watching Cocktails with the Queens, one of the things they kept saying was, Dwayne Wade and Gabrielle are cutting the mother out of making decisions for her child, and they're allowing the child to make adult decisions, and she's not even 18. Listen, people, you cannot have SRS as a minor. You can't. This child, Zaya, is not in the process of having sexual reassignment surgery. She's not even finished developing. She can't have it. Now, what you can do is essentially give the child puberty blockers, right? And these puberty blockers just press a pause button and say, boop, pause on puberty. It says pause, hold up, wait a minute. Where are we going with this? We going here or we going there? Which direction are we going? And it gives Zaya an opportunity to figure out exactly who she is, right? Because I'm in agreement, right? When you're a kid, now listen, I knew who I was since I could remember. Since I could remember, I was very clear. Very, very, very clear. But that is my experience. That is my experience. And I know that because that is my experience, what is true for me is not true for all. Right? So I knew. I always knew. I always knew from the time I was probably, I want to say anywhere from 3 to 5 years old. Since I knew the difference between a boy and a girl, I knew. And I remember thinking in my child mind, because these seeds of bigotry were already being implanted at a very early age, I'm going to have to grow up, become who I am, and wash my hands with my family. Because that was the only vision towards peace that I could see for myself. Can you imagine being a child and having to think that way? Having to excommunicate yourself from your family because the calling to be you is so strong, and you know that their disdain for who you are is so strong that the two cannot coexist in the same space, to the point that as a child, you're already making a commitment that I'm going to choose me. I'm going to choose me. Zaya doesn't have to make that decision. She doesn't have to make that choice. She is surrounded by, and I can't speak for her biological mom. It seems like she has some differences too, some aversion to the transition, which is her choice. I'm not going to vilify her for having an aversion to Zaya being trans, because as a mother, she wants what's best, and she doesn't believe that this is the best thing for her child. So she's making decisions based on what she believes is best. I may disagree with her position, but I don't think that her decision to disagree with the transition is really intended to be harmful to Zaya. She's ignorant. And I say ignorant not to be disrespectful, but ignorant is lacking education, lacking experience, lacking the compassion, the wherewithal to really understand what it means to be trans. But Zaya is in a healthy, loving home, and people just won't let this girl be great. And so I was so happy to see Selena Johnson speak up and correct Vivica Fox and correct Lisa Ray. You know, because Lisa Ray was keying at what Lil Boosie said. Like, there was something funny in it. There was nothing funny about him calling her a quote-unquote white girl or calling her, because it's no shade. But I feel like Vivica and Lisa, maybe even Claudia, may not have a fondness for Claudia because, you know, Hollywood is very cliquish, and they may have some personal feelings about Gabrielle because, you know, I don't know. You know, maybe Gabrielle got roles that they wanted and they didn't. Maybe they felt like, you know, all around Hollywood, Gabrielle was stopping people's pay. You know how people get, you know. So I don't know what the background beef may be. But when I watch them, I'm like, this isn't just about this child. They have some sort of feelings towards Gabrielle, in my opinion, because they talked about her not being Zaya's mom. This is her stepmother. This is who she spends the majority of her time. No, this is not her biological mother. And I'm sure Gabrielle is very much aware of that. But it doesn't change the fact that she is a mother figure in Zaya's life. And Selena called it out, and she said if she were to deny the child and not call the child hers, then you guys would be saying, oh, well, she's not, you know, connecting, or she's not, doesn't see the child as her own. You know how people get, damned if you do, damned if you don't. And so here she is embracing the child, loving the child, supporting the child, and people still have a problem with that, to the point that they go under a post completely unrelated to Zaya, showing a moment between, a beautiful moment between a black mother and her black daughter, and turn that into a post about Zaya. You know, protect this baby. Because the baby had on a t-shirt with a rainbow flag that says something like everyone's welcome or everybody's welcome. I couldn't see the full shirt, but I saw enough to get that it was essentially saying everyone is welcome. Can someone tell me what is wrong with that? And then you try to invoke Jesus. God protect this child. Isn't that what church is about? Isn't that what God is about? Everyone is welcome. So you see God, but because God is in a rainbow, then you reject it. These people need to grow up. The people really need to grow up and get over this transphobia, homophobia, you know, LGBTQIAP plus aversion nonsense, and just let people live their lives. Let this girl Zaya live her life. Lil Boosie needs to mind his business. Because if I were a betting woman, I'm sure that his kids will have an interaction with the authorities before Gabrielle and Dwayne's kids will have an interaction with the authorities. I'm just saying. If I were to look at SAT scores, I'm pretty sure that Gabrielle and Dwayne's children are scoring up here. Lil Boosie's kids. I'm just saying. I'm just saying. I'm just saying, because I've heard Zaya speak. Super intelligent. Super intelligent. Nobody talks about that. No one talks about how smart this little girl is. No one talks about how intelligent she is. Because to acknowledge that she is well-spoken, to acknowledge how poised she is in the face of this amount of exposure and pressure on her, would be an acknowledgement to great parenting, and people can't do that because, see, if you support an LGBTQIAP plus child, then it completely discounts anything you've done positively as a parent. They can only focus on one thing, and that is this child's gender identity, excuse me. That's it. All they can focus on is her gender identity. And they brought up a point in Cocktails with Queens where they were talking about, Claudia was saying, well, they put her in a national platform. They put her out here. And if you put her out here, people are going to judge it. What were they supposed to do? What? You know, I remember there was, is it Shiloh? I believe Shiloh Pitt. Shiloh Jolie Pitt. Brad Pitt and Angelina Jolie's daughter, child, at one point was very masculine appearing. Very masculine appearing. And Brad and Angelina said, do you, boo? Do you? We're going to give you the space in the agency because at the end of the day, what you put on your body is just simply clothing. It is form of self-expression. If you want to be more masculine appearing, go ahead, do you. It's the same as a little girl who has a favorite princess dress, who wants to wear it to school, and the parents know that, this is not school attire, but they're like, my baby wants to wear this princess dress. Okay, go ahead, baby. Go ahead and be a princess at school. Do you. I'm not going to stop you from being a princess. A little boy may have, a Spider-Man costume that he wants to wear, and the parents know it's inappropriate, but because the child is so convicted to it, they step out and let the child be a child and enjoy themselves. And so Angelina Jolie and Brad Pitt took this same sort of stance on Shiloh's appearance and allowed her the space and agency to be who she was. And I saw a video of her recently. I believe she's dancing, cutting a rug, I might add. Cutting a rug. And she now has a more feminine appearance. I don't know if she's lesbian, gay, bi, trans. I don't know. But I do know it didn't get the same level of scrutiny that that Zaya gets. And I don't understand why. I don't understand why black people have to be so vitriolic when it comes to trans issues. I don't get it. I really don't. All this fornicating, all this, going to baby showers with people who aren't even married, babies out of wedlock, all of this cheating and, all this hedonism going on. But it's just this one thing that people disagree with. Just that one thing. People write the comments are probably not married and having kids out of wedlock, eating bottom feeders, committing every single sin that you can possibly commit. But at least our child ain't trans. That's the only one that counts. I don't know, people. Anyway, this video is getting a little long, so I don't want to talk your ears out, but I'm curious to know what you think about the Raphael Warnock Herschel Walker election. I also really want to hear, if you're a person who disagrees with my position and you're an intelligent person who's able to have an intelligent conversation about why you disagree with Zaya being trans and her support from her parents, I want to hear from you, right? I want to hear from you. If you got something ignorant to say, I do filter my comments. I'm just going to delete it. So you've been warned. So before you sit down, take 10 minutes, however long it's going to take you to type a hateful comment. It's only going to take me a second to hit boop, delete. Boop, delete. And you are gone because I do not entertain it. I don't have time for it. I'm busy. Got things to do. Trying to pay bills around here. So anyway, you guys, please do me a huge favor. Like, comment, subscribe, and share if you care. And as always, in closing, ask yourself this one poignant question. Why be bitter when we can be better? I'm the Mass Trans, and I'll talk to you guys again in my next video. Bye-bye.